exotic broads, and I got them soaking panties. Told them they were certified. Welcome to the Zanny family. Whoa, whoa. Welcome to the family, baby.
What is up, guys? Edgar here, lifestylesdefined.com. Welcome back to Aperture. So this is actually part 3 of my mini series, my trip to Mexico, and this is going to cover my trip with my family to Guayabitos Beach in Mexico. So there's actually a couple of islands in this at this beach, and it's a really family-oriented beach. So if you have kids, that is one place that you might want to visit in Mexico. But there's 2 islands. The smaller one is called Isla Cangrejo, which is a crab island. As you see on screen, it's this little guy right here. And then the bigger island, which is this one here, that one is called Isla Coral, which is Coral Island. That is the island where you can actually scuba dive there. The other one, you don't really, they kind of take you around a tour of it. But these are the 2 islands. They're at this particular beach. And then, of course, there's the beach and all these other things that you can do there. Going to this beach, I didn't really know what to expect. I read on it a little bit, but I did capture a few images, and I'm going to share those with you today. So the first image on screen is actually a self-portrait of myself. As you can see here, I'm wearing my backpack, my tripod on my back. My sister, my brother were there with me when I was taking the shot. They were kind of helping me put myself in frame. And just to show you guys real quick the photo info, as you can see, the water is a little smooth there, and there's a reason for it, and that is because I shot it at a 5-second exposure at f11 30mm lens. I used my Sigma lens with the Sony A6000 at ISO 100. Obviously it was a little bright, and I did do some quite a bit of processing on this one just to expose myself, because originally I was a silhouette in this shot. So again, 5-second exposure, f11 for more detail. That is why I have that smooth water there. I tried to stay as still as possible. It's not the sharpest image, but it does tell a story for me. One thing that I noticed a lot is that if you go through my Instagram feed or even my Facebook, I don't necessarily take a lot of pictures of myself. And so I felt like this was an opportunity for me to put myself in my storytelling in the photographs that I take. And so this is one shot that I really like. Of course, I happen to be the person in it, looking towards the islands. I can't remember what I captioned it as on Instagram, but again, not the sharpest image, but definitely tells a story for me. It is basically me exploring more. Photography has opened up a lot of doors for exploration, for traveling, and that's something that I'm doing a lot of lately. As you can see, I have a pretty nice tan, so that's one thing that I've been doing a lot of. And this picture here describes that the adventures that I've been taking, and the ones that are to come. So this is one of my favorite images here. I guess I did use the Proline tripod on here. One thing is, if you're gonna use the Proline tripod, you might want to put and you're gonna be that close to the water, you might want to use like bags or something to protect the legs at the very bottom of the tripod, because they did get a little rusty on me, and I did get a little sand on there. So when I try to screw the feet in, and when I try to actually close the tripod down, it was a little rough for me, and it took me a little while to remove that dust. I actually used an air compressor to remove the sand out of the tripod, so keep that in mind. So this is one of my favorite shots here. The next shot, as you can see here, I actually used an ND filter, and I totally forgot to mention that in my the first video, which had to do with the gear. I used the Fudga ND fader, this guy right here, to take the shot. And you will notice, because I wasn't at the right angle when I took this shot, this one, I am a silhouette on this one. I actually exposed more for the sky. I love the color of it. I love how it is actually a pretty mysterious shot. Again, me looking towards the islands there. But as you can see here on this corner here of the frame, on the right corner of the frame, it is actually very dark. And there's a reason for that. The reason is because I wasn't positioned in the right spot. And so the way the sun was coming into the camera, the ND filter actually created this kind of vignette on this side of the screen here. So I do like this image. I like the colors. I like the silhouette aspect to it. I actually did edit this in a slightly different way. As you can see here, I try to expose a little bit. I try to expose for most of the picture, as opposed to on this one here, I exposed for the sky here. But this, sorry about that. This one here, I exposed more for the full picture here. And again, it's the same image, but you can see the water a little more there, and the buoys here on the bottom. So that's just the same shot, just different exposures there. I'm gonna skip this one for now and go to this one here. This was actually one of the nights that we made it out into the town, into the village there. Obviously, one of the big things in this island, or at this beach here, is the resorts and the tourism. So, you know, one of the things I wanted to capture was the tour buses here, these massive things right here that we got to ride in for about a 5-hour, 6-hour trip. Actually, on the way back, we had a crazy situation. We were on the bus on the way back home, and the bus in front of us broke down, so we ended up getting stuck there for a couple hours while they fixed that bus. And then after that, there was a huge soccer game in the city, which happened to create a ton of traffic. And not only that, but there was actually a wreck, a semi-wrecked into one of the pillars at a check station. So that delayed us even more. It became like an 8-hour trip back, and that was a horrible experience. But aside from that, my experience at this beach was pretty amazing. This shot here again, as far as the how I shot it, let me show you guys here. Again, I used the tripod on this one here, but let me show you the information. This is a 10-second exposure at f10, 30mm lens, the Sigma at ISO 100, and again using the Sony A6000. One of the things I wanted to capture here is the night, obviously, and the lights. As you can see, the trails on the lights here, making them look like stars. I do like that. I love the colors of the trees and the green, and you know, just the reflection here on the window of the trees and the lights and the brick street. It's just a really interesting shot for me. I didn't have a lot of time to shoot, so this was just one that I kind of liked while we were walking around the small village here. So interesting shot for me, for sure. Now this shot here, I love the colors in this shot. It looks kind of like a painting. So the island is kind of a silhouette, but not completely. If I actually zoom in, you can see small details on the buildings. I didn't want to bring out too much detail because it was just it was going to, I think, ruin the shot for me. But it's a really nice shot. The sky was actually, this isn't an exaggeration, this is actually the way it was. The sky was super purple. It reflected on the water, and I wanted to capture kind of a smoothness to the water. And again, let me show you the photo information here. So this is actually a 2-second exposure at f14 at 55mm. For this shot, I used the Sony 55-210 lens, and again using the Sony A6000 with the Proline tripod. So this is one of the shots that I took where I used the 55-210 lens, and as you can see, it's not that wide of a lens, but it actually did pretty well for this shot here. Again, I love the colors of the sky. The sun was already setting behind the mountain there. This little area here is actually a restaurant on top, a very popular restaurant there, and I thought it was really cool. We never really got to eat there, but I thought it was really neat to capture just this side of the island. This boat here is actually a party boat, but they actually do take you on tours when the whales come in to the beach, into this particular area here. This is the boat where they actually take you for tours as well. And actually forgot to mention that in this shot here, at this island, there's actually a restaurant up there as well. It's actually hidden on the other side of that island, but I thought that was really interesting. When you look at this island from a distance, it looks really hazy, you know, and you really can't tell much over there. But again, this is the island where we went scuba diving, and on top of that, you know, they have a lot of little things for sale, snacks and beer, you know, and things like that. But really interesting because there's a restaurant on the other side, and once you get there, this little tiny island turns into a pretty big island So I thought that was pretty interesting. Now this shot is probably my favorite shot, and one that I liked so much that I actually printed out a huge 20 by 30, I think. And actually, let me grab that real quick. I know I'm going to be off frame. I actually printed it right here. And obviously, you can't see much of it, a lot of detail, but it is one of my favorite shots, and I decided to print it out. And I'm actually going to do a giveaway maybe on my Facebook photography page. Edgar Mesa Photography. I might do a giveaway there. I will let you know on further details on that. So, and maybe in on this channel as well. So please stay tuned for that announcement here. You never know, it might be on Instagram, my Facebook page, or on this channel here. So please stay tuned for that. But anyway, this shot right here was really interesting. There's a couple of swimmers here at the bottom. You have the dad here and his son there at the bottom, and I thought it was interesting just the composition of the shot here. You have a little tour boat right here in the frame. You have this huge sailboat right here. The sky, the sky, the orange, the reds, the yellows, just almost looks fake. It looks like a painting. Obviously, I did enhance the colors a little bit, but I love how even the water reflects the sky as well. And just to show you the actual photo or the file info here, this was in 1/10 of a second at f5 at 86 millimeters. That's really an awkward focus length, focal point, but it's at ISO 100. Again, the sun was setting towards the other side, and I think all three shots, this shot here, well, actually this shot here and this shot here were taken that same night. This one was shot a little earlier. This one was shot a little later, once the sun was setting. But this was when the sun was still right above the where the restaurant is. And I just like this capture. It reminds me of actually my father-in-law and my boys. He always takes them to the lake every summer, and this is one of the things that my boys and my kids, my girls as well, love to do. They love going to the lake. You know, I have never taken them to the ocean yet, but that's something that I have on the to-do list for sure. But this image, I thought just the composition of it, you know, capturing the sailboat here, the little tour boat here, and then the swimmers here at the bottom, and also the colors of the sky from the sunset that night. It just made it my favorite photo of the entire trip that I took. And again, I ended up printing it out. I actually gave one print away already to my father-in-law, of course, but I am going to give this one away here, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Anyway, let me know what you think about my photos here. Obviously, this one here where I'm in the frame, I think this is also one of my favorites. The fact that I'm in the story. Typically, I feel like with photography, you are able to tell a story with every shot. You know, obviously you have those creative shots, but you also have those photographs that you take that tell a story. And so I decided to make myself part of a story on this one here. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to share your photography with us on our Facebook page at LD Photo Life. Also follow us on Instagram as well, and don't forget to hashtag LD Familia to get featured on Instagram. And even on our Facebook page, you know, we actually like to make when you post a photograph, we like to kind of comment on it, and we can discuss things, give you pointers, you know, and we kind of get into a conversation on why you shot the photo the way you did. And sometimes your photo can become the cover photo on our Facebook page. So don't forget to check us out on all of our social media. As always, thank you for stopping by. My name is Edgar, signing off. Peace.
Well, I guess. And the reason we started Lifestyles Defined is because if we weren't on camera arguing about these things, the technologies, the phones, the iPhones, the Androids, the cameras, the games, we'd be on the phone arguing about it. We'd be in each other's houses arguing about it. So why not just put it in front of a camera for everyone to enjoy it the way we do? That's what Lifestyles Defined is all about. We just love